I had to get you ready because what I might be about to tell you might knock you out. Might knock you out. So today we're going to talk about spirituality versus religion. Being on the spiritual side, being on the religious side. Both of my grandparents were religious people. When I say religion, I mean that they went to church, okay? They went to church. My grandmother was actually the same year that she passed, 2006, I think she was the woman of the year at the church. And my grandfather, he's the church treasurer. So he takes care of the money, which is fitting for him because he don't spend no money. I think everybody that was born in 1930 that went through that Great Depression, that black period, those guys don't spend nothing. He don't spend no money. So and he don't do banks. Keeps his money buried somewhere. I don't know where he keeps his money, but he always has cash, and he won't lend it to you. He won't lend it to you. So it's fitting for him to have that position that he has in the church as the church treasurer. So he ain't gonna rob. He ain't gonna rob the church. He's gonna save every penny. I think he still has the first penny that he made. Okay, but nevertheless, my grandparents were church people. All right, my grandfather's still alive. My grandmother's gone on. Even on my other side, church people. Okay, so this conversation is not about me being biased. This is about truth. If you can't accept the truth in life, then you got a long way to go. We always have to tell the truth above all things. We got to represent the truth. Yeah, you know, you might tell, like I always tell my guys, you might tell those white lies. So when you talk about sports, you know, a guy might say he had 40 points. If he really only had 37, that's a white lie. Okay, man, go on. We're going to let you go. That's a white lie. That's a white lie, okay? But when we're dealing with something as serious as this, we have to speak the facts. We have to speak the facts. So religion versus spirituality, okay? Religion versus spirituality. That's a big thing in the black community. So this message right here will be for those people who are falling under the Kemetic, Moors, Hebrews, 5%ers, Muslims, Christians, all of that, all the Baptist people, all of those names, those are the people that I'm talking to. African American, all of that, okay? So this message is for you, hood people, whoever you are. This is for you. In my estimation, which I talk about in my newest book, which will be a documentary, which will be done as far as the book is concerned. The book will be done in a month. Probably going to be about 300 pages, as I've said before. But in my estimation, religion has done African Americans a disservice. Now, the specific religion that I'm going to speak of right now is going to be anything that's dealing with the Bible. The reason why I'm choosing that is based on the numbers from 2007, I think it was 2007 survey by spiritual committee or religious committee. The numbers showed that 84% of the African Americans in this country, 84% are Christian or deal with the Bible. Their religion deals with the Bible, whereas only 1% deals with the Muslim. 1% claim that they're Muslim faith. So we have to go with the numbers. Okay, 87% of all African Americans said that they're religious, and 79% say that religion plays a big part in their lives, whereas 83% of the country, of the United States, say they're religious. So we have a 4% difference. We're saying 87% of African Americans saying that they're religious, whereas 83% of the country saying that they're religious. So, spirituality, religion. What is religion? Religion is a set of beliefs. Religion is a set of beliefs concerning the cause, nature, and purpose of the universe, using rituals or devotionals to, and it may often contain what you would call rules, or in Spanish, reglas, basically moral governing codes to regulate human affairs. And so whenever every religion that you or that you've ever heard of, they have their set of rules, okay, to keep the people in line. no smoking, no drink. If you're Jehovah's Witnesses, you got to wear your skirts down past the knees. Hebrew Israelites, when you go on Saturday, you got to cover your hair, especially women. No eating this meat, Hebrew Israelites, no eating this pork, or same thing with Muslims. So that's the moral governing code to regulate human affairs, okay? The thing about religion is that religion talks about God, okay? Religion deals with dualism. It's more of a who's out, who's in. That's the thing about religion. Who's out, who's in. Religion has loyalty to clergy and to institutions, okay? So now we're dealing with, I won't use the word cult because that's not the right word, but you're dealing with a conglomerate that has their own set of rules that are marching by their own beat, okay? And they're using whatever set of rules they have to keep everybody on the same page. Nothing wrong with that. Now let's jump over here to spirituality. This is pertaining to the spirit and is distinguished from the physical nature, okay? So the thing about spirituality is that it's not going to be about the dualism, the who's in or who's out. Spirituality, whereas religion is talking about God, spirituality is developing the God within you, okay? Spirituality is more about justice and compassion. Justice and compassion. So it's really developing the individual, okay? It's really developing all the God-like traits within you. So if I had to choose, if I was just caught on the crossroads and I had to choose, what would I pick? Would I pick religion or would I pick spirituality? I would probably go with spirituality. And the reason is because you're talking about the recognition of God within you. Whereas you're just talking about God with religion, okay? So there's a separation. There's a big separation. And now what I found is that you have people who are religious, but they're not spiritual. And that harms them. That harms them. When you're religious and not spiritual, that's a problem. Because you're just following their religion, okay? You're just kind of you're following their rules. And most times you're not even following their rules. Most times you're not following their rules because if you were, you probably wouldn't be in the predicament that you're in. So let's face it, how many black people that you know that are thriving as opposed to the amount that are not thriving? How many people you know in bad situations as opposed to ones that are in great situations? So you have to ask yourself, is religion the true answer? But forget all of that. We're going to scratch that. My question to you is, if someone will put you into physical captivity, would they not put you into mental enslavement, mental captivity? Would they not? If I was a slave owner and I brought you from a distant land against your will, I brought you from a distant land, enslaved you, is it logical for me not to only enslave you as a physical slave and not mental enslavement, mental bondage? Would that be logical? Wouldn't I enslave you with mental bondage? And so I say that to say that any book that you have that's going to help you or supposed to help you with your religion, that book is not going to be a complete book. Number one, you don't know who wrote the book. You weren't around. Now, I mentioned that in religion, in the definition of religion, it's a set of beliefs concerning the cause, the nature, or the purpose of the universe. Operative words being set of beliefs. It wasn't your beliefs. Who gave you these beliefs? Who gave you these beliefs? That's another question that you have to ask yourself. Were you born, or did you just come in and choose these beliefs, or were they bestowed upon you? Did your parents just give them to you, or did you have a chance to select? You probably didn't have a chance to select these beliefs. They were just given to you. But then again, who gave them to your parents? So these are beliefs. These are not facts. These are not things that you know to be sure. These are things that are given to you. So again, we have to examine what's given to us, because everything that's given to you, you can be sure that it wasn't given to you as an advantage. It wasn't given to you as an advantage for you. It wasn't given to you as an advantage for you. And so I say to anybody that's a Bible reader, when you read the Bible, have common sense. Use common sense that God gave you. Because the Bible is actually my favorite book. Full of allegories, full of some history facts, and full of just stories. Just stories. It's a great book. If you could try to live your life just based on the Bible, you would be confused, but it will be a great book to live on because it has great principles. Great principles. We can't deny that. The Bible is the great book. I call it the great book. It's the great book. But you have to study history in order to decipher what's real and what's not real. What's real and what's not real. Mind you, the Egyptian culture was around long before the Bible, at least 2,000 years. At least 2,000 years. So if we're going to start going back to see what's true, we got to go all the way back past into the Egyptian culture. Again, here's another question for you. If the Bible is 100% accurate, why is it that you could find things from an Egyptian culture, which is 2,000 years before, but you can't find characters of the Bible? So when I say things, I really mean characters or people. Why can you find people or pharaohs that's from Egypt? You can find their tombs, you can find all kinds of stuff from the Egyptian cultures, but you have no sightings of certain people in the Bible. What's up with that? If they lived and they were this great, we got to be able to pinpoint something. We have to be able to pinpoint something on these people. So again, we're moving back to spirituality. When you deal with the spirit, you're developing the soul. You're developing the soul. You're developing you as an individual. And so when you develop your spirit, you are less prone to do damage towards anybody else because you recognize the God within you. But when you deal with a religion, you're like a robot. You don't even think about the God within you. You're just thinking about doing what you were told or what this book says. This is what this book says exactly here. And most times people don't even follow the book to a T. They don't even follow the book to a T. Even Muslims, they don't follow these books to a T. Not all, but some. Because if you did, you'd be confused. So you pick and you choose. I was telling some of my family members that are Christians, I said, hey, you know you can't eat pork. That's in the dietary law. Oh, don't say that. You can't. I can eat pork. I'm just telling you what the Bible says, man. Then they try to go into the New Testament, Old Testament. I'm like, I'm out of all of that. I'm out of all of that. I'm not going to even get into that because that's another whole conversation. But my whole point is this. Religion has done a little bit of damage for the African American because we've forgotten about developing spirituality. We've forgotten about developing spirituality because religion at its best is spirituality in the community. These are not supposed to be separate. They're supposed to be together. They're supposed to be together. Religion and spirituality is supposed to be together, to work as one. So you are thinking that your Savior or your soul relies on you going to a building instead of your actions, how you treat the next individual. You're thinking that because you pay a certain amount of money, you're going to be saved or get to a certain level or get to heaven or whatever you call it. But instead of realizing it's your actions, it's going to get you wherever it is that you desire to be. It's going to be your actions. I know tons of people that go to church that as soon as they leave that service, they speak ill of the next man. You were spiritual, you probably wouldn't be on that tip. You'd be on something else. You'd be on something else. So you can't get yourself caught in religion, because in religion, again, your loyalty is to an institution, to a man, pastor, preacher, clergy. That's where your loyalty is at. So now you put them above you. You put their ability to interpret a word over your ability. God has not favored anybody over the next. I will continue to say that. I've always said that, and I'll continue to say that. God does not favor one person over the next. Now, whatever you get, whatever you receive, could be a little bit of grace, but primarily it will be because of your works, whatever you've done. So you can't get caught up in religion. You can't get caught up in religion, because being religious, on another note, can mean, hey, I religiously get up at 5 in the morning every day. Now, because I'm a part of a religion does not mean that I'm godly. That's the difference. Because I'm a part of a religion does not mean that I'm godly. It does not mean that. It does not imply that I'm godly. Because I go to the mosque, because I go to church, because I'm praying, the measures are going to be in your heart. So we're going back to spirituality again. The measure of a man is in his heart. Or a woman, for that matter. But I see some of the most rottenest people that are in church. They call themselves Christians or Hebrews or whatever names they're associated with the Bible, even Catholics, whatever. It's real. I don't know too many black Catholics, but if they are, they're in the Americas, in the Dominican Republics, the Jamaicas, those kind of countries. I don't know too many in the United States. I'm sure they are, but for the most part, the black people I know are Christians, or claim to be Christians, or claim to be religion, a part of a religion, or Muslim, or Hebrew, or 5%ers. So I'm saying all that to say that you have to know that there's a distinct difference between religion and spirituality. Most people that are involved in religion kind of cut themselves off from the world. If you're not part of this group, I really don't want to deal with you. Not all, but some. These are general statements. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to be doing the same thing, but they're general statements. And these are from my experiences. From my experiences, this is what I see. This is what I see. So if you are a part of a religion, work on your spirituality, because that is one of the biggest reasons why we've fallen off in this country, let alone the world. Because spirituality was what your ancestors called on for strength, to get them out of situations, for them to be able to survive long boat rides, and while their family members were separated or thrown overboard or killed or beaten, all of that. That's where spirituality came from. It wasn't religion, because you didn't have that book that you think you have now. That book was not with you when you were in Africa, Egypt, Mizraim, whatever they call it. That book was not with you. The book was given to you, and then you were taught to speak the language of your captives. You did not speak this language that we call English. English is for people from England. But whatever land you are in, or the land of your captors, is the language that you're going to speak. Okay, you got settled by the Portuguese. You're in Brazil, you're going to speak Portuguese. You got settled by the Spanish. You're in the Dominican Republic, you're going to speak Spanish. You got settled by the Spanish, you're in Puerto Rico, you're going to speak Puerto Rican. You're going to speak Spanish. You got settled in Haiti you're in Haiti, you got settled by France, you're going to speak French. Simple as that. So whatever you have is given to you. Please understand that. Don't be led astray. Don't have blinders on. Don't be linear. Whatever you have is given to you. You wasn't here hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So for all you know, you don't know what's true. But you do know one thing. You were brought here, and you were made to forget all of your customs. All of them, even your food. You're eating the same food. You're eating European foods getting European diseases. Vienna sausage, that's Vienna, Austria. Hamburger, Hamburg, Germany. French fries, they're actually not from France, they're actually from Belgium, created in Belgium. Think about that, people. When you start trying to separate things, religion, spirituality, they go together. They go together. Spirituality goes with religion, religion with spirituality, however you want to say it. But the truth is not necessarily in a building or relying on the next person. Whatever it is that you believe in, make it work for you. But above all, make sure that you develop the spirit, the individual you. Recognize the God within you to make decisions for yourself. That's why I talk about eating the right foods. When you eat the right foods, you're grounded. When you eat plant life, you're grounded. You're connected to the earth. You're connected to the earth. You're meditating. You're reading whatever word it is that you read. And your mind is open to God. The truth will be revealed to you. But when you're blocked off, saying that you know that this is the way, you're not going to learn nothing. You're going to still be stiff-necked and be messed up. A lot of Christians out here poor with no money. A lot of Muslim people poor. When I say Muslim, I'm really talking about the black Muslim. I'm not talking all the other stuff. I'm talking about my brothers and sisters that's selling bean pies in the neighborhood. Those are the people that I'm talking about. I don't know too many Muslim, hardcore Muslims like the ones that I knew in the Middle East when I was in Kuwait, in Dubai, in Lebanon. I mean, I'm dealing with religious wars. I'm seeing the bombs on the south because where I was at, I was located in Beirut, and there's bombing on I think it's South Israel. And you can see the fighter planes flying over your house at night. Boom! Now they're not throwing the bombs at you, but over there on that border, that's what action's going down. So I'm not talking about Muslim like those guys. I'm talking about the black Muslims, the Malcolm X type stuff. But anyway, this was just a video to provoke some thought for you to think about religion and spirituality. Don't get caught up in a building or institution or being devoted to another individual. Just reading and doing the same thing that you could do when you have God within you. VMcSwine at PrivateEyeHealth.com. Thanks for watching.